public aside from Jonathan Carr, who is on the agenda, so we do not have anyone for public comment. The next item on the agenda is to review our meeting minutes from our last meeting, March 2024. So if you want to take a minute just to read through those.
God, how fast the year goes by, huh?
Isn't that the truth?
Move we accept them as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, so we have some old business. First piece of old business is we need to finish signing some of our HR paperwork for town hall. We started this last meeting, and then I think a few sheets of paper got missed by a few people. So Gordy, you are good. Let me just get organized here. Okay, so Mike, these are acknowledgements of some HR paperwork that you read via email. They were emailed around last year as well. At this point, I know that we've all reviewed it. And let's see, who else needed to sign is in attendance. Just put have the Agricultural Commission or have the Ag Commission. And then Wally, I was
One more to do?
just missing that one from you.
February 26th.
I think it's just yeah, this is open meeting acknowledgement that we were made aware of the open meeting documentation and that we reviewed it within the past year. And basically, we just have to adhere to open meeting bylaw, not discuss official business outside of official meetings, things of that nature. Conflict of interest, don't use your official Ag Commission position for personal gain. There's a lot of state regulations around that. I know that that's a yearly review.
I don't think you'd even get a free coffee with that one.
There is a fine line between a hero and a zero.
And that should be it.
Just in case you need a signature.
Yep. Alright.
Unlike Ray's establishment, this is the barn out back person. The barn next door.
I tried to be descriptive, so
Yeah.
people know where. Some people, you say the barn out front, they might try to go to your tobacco shed.
They'd be lonely, but they could be there.
Okay, so that takes care of old business. We are all covered with our HR paperwork that we supplied to town hall that we're in compliance. So under new business, we have a farmer meeting. Jonathan Carr is here from Carr's Cider House, and he has plans on building a structure on his property that is of agricultural nature, and wanted to quickly discuss with us details, concerns, or just let us know what is going on with the project and if we can be helpful at all in that process.
Okay. Well, so just brought some drawings where we're wanting to construct a relatively simple pavilion next to our outdoor cider bar. Because right now we just have outdoor picnic table seating. If it rains, everybody goes home and doesn't spend their money. So very simple kind of native lumber, rough sawn, open sides, just a polycarbonate roof, something like that. Picnic tables underneath.
Not a winterized.
Not a winterized structure. So in any case, I went into talked with the building inspector last fall about this, just to sort of sound him out on it. And so, and he informed me that it would be considered a commercial structure because it would involve the general public coming to use it. And I said, well, what does that entail? And he said, well, it'll have to be engineered and you'll have to have an engineer's stamp on it. And so anyway, I did my research and it turns out that's a pretty expensive proposition to add, engineering and I guess construction control is the term, to the project. And I got estimates, I don't know, $5,000 or more, which isn't a lot of money. But this is, we're trying to build this thing for $10,000 or something like that. Keep the cost
He didn't
down.
say anything to you about having to have septic capacity or fire control inside?
Well, he talked to Mike Spanknable, and I think because the occupancy is under 100 and there's no sides on the building and
Yeah.
no worries about sprinklers or anything like
Yeah.
that. And so, in any case, I was looking around for an engineer, and then I was talking to a few people around town, and Tim Nyhart decided to help me out, and so he working with him right now. He drew up these plans that I have, and so we're planning on meeting Tom Finland hopefully next week to discuss this with him further. I mean, my other concern is that I want to use local lumber, and according to the building code, I have it in here somewhere. You
Still
can
has to be pressure treated, of course.
well, it's going to be on
Ground
it's
contact.
going to be on sonotube, so it's above grade for the posts.
Oh, everything.
Yeah. So so that's not an issue, but native lumber, I guess, can't be used in a commercial project, but it can be used in agricultural project or accessory buildings or dwellings.
When you
And so-
say, help me out with the description of native lumber.
yeah,
What,
just like local sawmill, like Tyler Sage or J Team.
Yeah.
So
just
rough
you want
sawn.
You want rough sawed.
Yeah.
You don't want it tongue and groove and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just concerned, that might be an issue as well. I guess I have to work that out with the building inspector. But in any case, my concern, I guess, is just like, how do you classify a structure as agricultural? Because, we have the right to farm bylaw. Agritourism is
Your farm,
part of that.
your farm is a protected farm, is it not? Ag rights sold?
It's APR. Yep.
APR, well, that's
Yep.
gonna be a good basis, I think, for your
However, I guess
argument.
the catch is it's not on, so we own the farm on Mount Warner, but then this is our business property on River Drive, on Route 47. So it's
Okay,
not
well-
the same piece of property.
Yeah,
But that's probably to your advantage, because putting a building up on APR can be really tricky.
It can.
So this is to
Yeah.
your favor.
Well, it's straightforward in that way because we're
Yeah.
zone limited business, so
Yeah,
there's no holdup to that. But it's just classifying the building as commercial or agricultural. So
How big is it? Sorry, you told me.
it's like 12 by 72. So not
Okay, so it's,
not small, but not like
it's, what
Yeah.
is the dimension?
12 by 72.
Oh, it's really narrow.
Yeah, we got to kind of fit in this little slot.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, just run a row of picnic tables.
I understand.
Yep.
And I believe from correspondence prior, you had mentioned that Tim Nyhart was working with you on that agricultural piece of it.
Yep.
Or or just on the engineering?
Well, he's doing the engineering, but he offered to, you know, yeah, help me shepherd this project through. So, yeah.
The building inspector didn't give you any help or any direction in that way to how he was defining the,
I only had one conversation with the building inspector so far.
okay,
And so it seemed fairly cut and dry, but I'm going to meet with him again.
Good.
Hopefully next week with Tim, and then we can just kind of refine this, you know, whether we actually need to get a stamp, whether we can use native lumber, and whether it can be classified as agricultural.
now, help me out again, what did you say about why they can't use the native lumber? What's the deal there? And I'm assuming you mean like going to Wagner Wood and have them saw you out what you want.
Yeah. Because I guess it's, you know, only listed for 1-2 family dwellings, accessory structures, and agricultural buildings.
Okay.
But, and so if this project is classified as a commercial project, then maybe it's excluded from that.
Seems to me like you need to put pigs in this thing for a month.
I was gonna say,
I can put goats in there, no problem.
Goats.
Yep.
That's your answer to everything, Michael.
We'll put a goat pen under the skin. So anyway, that's where we are, and you know, I guess I'd like to, you know, it'd be nice to be able to classify a structure as agricultural, like in some cut and dried way to kind of make the process more straightforward. But I don't know.
I think you're gonna have a hard time doing that unless you have some farm-related production.
Well, I mean,
it is farm, it's his cider,
It's
but it's
sales.
not on the farm, but it's on his property. It's not a whole lot different than Cook Farm. I mean,
Yeah, but that wasn't excluded from all the stuff.
no, it was not excluded as part of it is part of the original farm lot. Yes, it is. You know, our ice cream.
Where the store is APR land?
Say again?
Where your store is that APR land? No.
No, our farm's not APR, but it's on that lot. I mean, that lot is 25 plus or minus acres, and it's part of it. It's not, we've never even cut it out.
But you probably had to have an engineer and, I mean, it was considered.
Well, it's supposed to be
considered a
building,
commercial
I'm
building.
sure it was something done. But don't forget, that was 1998.
You use local lumber on that thing? You got a bunch of post and beams in it, didn't you?
Well, some, but most of that was stuff that was sawed out over in Hardwick.
That's local
That's still
lumber.
local.
Yeah, well, right, I mean, not,
And it wasn't Kiln
It
Drive.
wasn't Keeksa local,
no,
but it was.
no, right.
No, but I think when they say local, they mean Kill Drive versus.
It wasn't Kill Dry, because I'll tell you what, after we put that in, it's
Was
hardwood, and that thing, once in a while when those logs split, you'd think somebody shot a gun off in there. Not anymore, I mean, that was 30 years ago, it's about.
So you don't think it's farming?
I think it's farming. I just,
Well, because I mean, agritourism, it's selling the farm products and great. I don't know.
You know what, we have a committee, we really don't do that much. As far as I'm concerned, maybe the committee should stand up this time and say, this is an agricultural project.
okay.
Because farming now isn't what it was 50 years ago, things change.
Yep.
How is your house land that this is gonna go on owned, and how is your farm owned?
Which is
Like the title on your property where the,
my wife and I own both.
both?
Yeah.
That'll help. I mean, it's same ownership, I don't know why that,
Yep.
even if it was APR, you don't APR your own home lot anyway.
Right.
I would second Wally's suggestion that we support it as an agriculture use. I was just trying to present their perspective, but I think you're absolutely right.
No?
And I think the previous building inspector, who's now your engineer, was a lot more flexible and understood farms and what it takes to farm and what you need as a farmer, much more so than the current building inspector. And I think anything we can do to try to bring him along would be helpful.
And I think the Hadley townspeople would support this.
Yeah, I would like to
I know
think,
they would.
I would like to think our building inspector, has our best interest at heart. I don't think
No,
there's no
yeah.
personal vendetta, I don't think on his behalf.
No,
I think he just has to make sure that his Ts are crossed and his Is are dotted, so that, but I think it would be,
Right, but I think the previous building inspector was willing to lean more to the flexibility of agricultural buildings when they're used as agricultural buildings, whereas, you know, we had a similar thing happen when we, with our root storage barn, you know, I can't remember the details of it, but it was way more rigorous than it had ever been. And we thought we had to end up having to, you know, spend another $10,000 to, you know, upgrade it or something.
and you have no, excuse me, no frontage issues or neighbor too close by issues, anything like that, that we're gonna, you know, that's gonna throw something at us that we don't.
No, it's all, the setbacks are fine.
Everybody loves
Every-
this
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my feeling is like, let's see how the meeting goes with Tim and,
Sure.
and Tom Quinlan and
All right.
you know, and who knows, maybe he'll have a different understanding, but, you know, if he says what he said last fall, then, you know, that will.
Would
just-
it help if we, as an agricultural commission committee, just wrote a letter, take into your meeting or previous to your meeting that said, you know, we reviewed this as very much an agricultural project. You know, the definition of agriculture is changing, you know, this, I mean, would that help maybe do that?
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, it's there in the, like, the right to farm bylaw, it says, you know, what is farming, and then it says, you know, farming includes agritourism, or whatever. Like,
Absolutely.
There's many definitions, but it's like, if you're gonna have it legally defined, I mean, I don't know what is the
What,
bylaw?
can I ask you, I mean, you're selling alcohol there.
Yep.
Is this gonna entail a separate, like, pouring kind of a license you're gonna have to get from the
Yep.
town?
We already have that. So we're
Okay.
we're in that way. We've done everything we need to do with that.
And that's not a, you know, some of them are available X number of days a year, and they don't have to be contiguous, but some of them are all the time. I mean, is yours just a full-time,
It's basically weekends, Friday through Sunday, but
is it defined?
yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I mean, that's been operating for the past 2 autumns. And so,
But over at the other,
no, on
Oh.
47. It's just, it's hidden. You can't see it from the road.
in other words, it's been fine, but it just hasn't, it just don't want you to block the sun? Is that the problem?
Why we want to build it?
No, I said, is that, I mean, you haven't had any problem doing it before, it just now that you wanna,
Well, I'll tell you what,
Get 'em
last
out of the
summer, at the
weather.
beginning of last summer, when it rained all the time, we're like, well, we're gonna lose our shirt. But then the sun came out for the rest of the summer, and like, this is great. Every weekend, full house.
right, and then it didn't rain again for a long time.
But anyway, it could be a rainy summer, so I just want to make sure people can. You know.
Yeah.
No, and you guys have even set up the parking nice, so people aren't parking on the street. You've done a lot.
Right. So
And it's like agricultural infrastructure.
yeah, I mean, it's going well, and you know, I always feel like, well, if we didn't want to do this anymore, we could take it down and put it up on the farm and use it as a shed or
Goats.
whatever. Yeah, you know, but so anyway, that's the plan. So
I think it's pretty much unanimous then, without having everybody individually, I mean, together, raise their hands. I think everybody has stated that we're, I guess, very much in favor of helping you get this done.
great. Okay, well, why don't I? I'll just come back to you after our meeting, and I'll just
Yeah.
keep you updated.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
I'd like to
say
stop in,
we'll draft
I'd like to stop in and
something
see your
before you-
operation sometime. But you,
Yeah, or come by and grab a cider. Show you that. Show you where we make it.
So do we want to take a vote at all that we want to draft?
well, I think that's probably appropriate, sure.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we draft a letter of support for Jonathan Carr and Carr Cider House and their project. See if you actually need it or not, or if your conversations with Tim and Tom yield the same results. But I think we're discussing that we are in support and agreement of that, so I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
All in favor?
That-
Unanimous.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yep, all right.
And you're free to stick around for the rest of this meeting if you want, or?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You don't see the
Learn
gallon-
learn
you
a
didn't see
thing or
the
two.
gallon of cider. Looking.
I heard a rumor you used to have a barrel up here, Wally. Is that
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I used to sneak up to Conway and bring him a barrel and get it filled up.
Do you
back in
remember
the day.
Dewey's?
Dewey?
Remember Dewey's?
Sure, and
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I got some bottles of theirs.
Oh, you do?
Their cider mill is at Pine Hill now. That's where it went.
oh, is that right?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So it's still going in one form or another.
Interesting. But see, on Sundays when Gordon needed something to drink, he could go over there.
Well, I never got cider there. I had several friends up in Conway and Leiden that had orchards, and we made it.
Okay, well, to keep the agenda
Yeah.
going,
Back in the day.
under new business, we have a few more items. Under B, we have future projects, like just update to review what the commission can work on in the future. I know in the last meeting, which is in the meeting minutes, we established that we're kind of a committee that acts as needed, such as is the case here. I know I've mentioned before, maybe just adding something to the town website, just like a little short FAQ page with just general resources and links, and I'm willing to take that on if we think that's a good idea. Just as an example, as I was preparing for this meeting, I was looking up some of the building inspector resources on our town website, and being able to click on a few links or go visit the building code stuff was helpful. So just having like a few resources in case someone visits us, like general resource questions might be something good, and they'll put our name out there.
Well, we're kind of a sounding board for the selectmen. We don't have official authorities. I have to just under new business. I want a friend of mine who's also a dairy farmer, and one of our townspeople was a little bit disappointed. You know, it's been a while now since the water rate went up. And it affects cattle quite a bit, but the water, and I'm a little disappointed maybe that board didn't contact us at all prior to that. But that's something it was a fairly major increase, and you can't save water. I mean, with cows, they need to drink water. And we did try to build a well over 5-6 years ago, but unfortunately our water there had a high. It's basic. The pH is fairly high on it, and a little bit too high to try to use for the cows. That was the intent.
But you could treat that, would probably cost more money than it makes sense to them, but it
Yeah,
might
and
make
it's
sense,
a
it might
pretty
make
good
sense
clip.
now,
It's about 8.5
grand.
pH.
But I mean, it might make sense to relook at it now the rates are higher.
Yeah, well, it didn't, I talked to the people at Quabbin, and they didn't seem to have a whole lot of stuffy. But anyway, yeah, look at it.
And that kind of leads into the next item on the agenda, in that back over the fall, and I believe I shared this around at some point, Select Board is meeting with various town boards, committees for updates.
Sure.
Kind of like I did last October, not this past October, but the October before, where I went before the Select Board and just gave an update on who we are, what we're working on. They are doing that again this year, and I think it would be wise for us to set a date for when we want to appear before the Select Board and give an update, because they can become aware of some of the issues that are on our minds as well. I was just pulling up on my phone. There's a few dates. that we could choose from. And I'm willing to appear as the clerk. It would be helpful if someone else could appear with me.
Well, at least to be in attendance with you, surely.
Yeah, because just like we're talking here, and it's great feedback, and you guys have insights that I don't always have. I think having two members there would be beneficial. But 2 dates that we could consider are Wednesday, April 2nd at 6 p.m. or Wednesday, May 7th at 6 p.m. I'm not sure if one works better,
I would say for all of us, the earlier,
the earlier.
because May already.
Yeah.
We might be getting to work by then.
Yeah, very true.
Hopefully we will be.
So.
What was that
Except
again,
in
Matt?
that, you know, some parts of town we call mud season.
Wednesday, April 2nd,
6
6
o'clock,
p.m.
you say?
Yep.
And where is that meeting? Right at Town Hall?
Hadley Senior Center. Yeah, that's where select board meetings are held now, so. Later on, I can confirm that date, just lock us in, and I think that'll be a good way for us to just get before the select board, because I know that they were encouraging us at the last meeting. They were hoping there would be some more collaboration between boards. Since we're small and don't meet extremely frequently, sometimes people just don't really know who we are, it seems.
Yeah, I'm more than glad to, as of right now, I'm pretty easy to be there. If you just want some support to be there, I'd be glad to go. In fact, I suppose all of us, if we're able to go, could go and just,
Yeah.
depending on our. Fine.
So I would say April 2nd would be a good date for us.
Nothing else, just the meet and greet, so they know who, who we are, and what our intent is, and the fact that we're not trying to throw people under the bus, we're trying to help keep the bus on the road.
Exactly. And so that leads to the final agenda item of setting the next meeting date, which I know we agreed that we meet when we need to. So we met last March.
I think
So
I think the year long's a little bit long. I think maybe we ought to shoot more for
6 months?
well, enough months to get us by October.
Okay. Any suggestions?
Well, it's only one day.
Great.
Yeah, so like October, November sometime. I know that we used to meet at
Yeah.
that time. So like our meeting schedule could be like twice a year for formal meetings, and if something comes up,
Yes.
we have the ability to call meetings like we just did here. It just happened that this fell on
Let's
almost
shoot
one year.
for a midweek day in October. Huh?
That sounds good. Right after the first frost.
Sure, we could maybe come here. The pumpkins. This will be full of
Yeah,
pumpkins.
they'll be full of pumpkins.
And that leads me to my final question of meeting location.
And we're all, I can make our place available. For this size meeting, won't be much of a problem.
No, we could always rent a pavilion.
That's right.
Might be built by then.
Because I know over the years that we've gone from meeting at on-site locations to going through the rental process of town buildings, and
Using the police station and having to not be able to get in sometimes.
I know that town hall at one point encouraged us to piggyback with other departments and meetings just because of staffing issues, but our more successful meetings seem to be when we are in a place that,
Is it okay with you, Alex?
Wherever you want.
As long as we tell you, right?
Exactly.
yeah, and
You heard that at one of the places might be renting a pavilion.
Got that place for you.
If we go to the pavilion or to Flavors, can we get these chairs moved over there?
so basically I believe the town's stance on meeting locations is as long as it's accessible to all, like a public location that anyone can access. And obviously, I'm sure Alex supports having some form of like power source or decent lighting.
Well, decent lighting, of course.
Looks to me like he's running this thing
Yeah,
Yeah, we're battery, we're good.
self-propelled here.
I was starting to say that, and I'm like, he's
We
not
even
plugged
have
in.
like we have little Jackie batteries that we can plug in. So don't think of us as a barrier for where you want to meet. Just pick a place, we'll be there.
Okay, so for now, I would say meeting as we have the past few years on location site would be good.
Did you want to look at a calendar and figure out a day now, or? Well, let's check out your schedule so you know exactly what's.
Yeah, I need to check my work schedule.
It might be
because-
I might be making pepper day, making pepper.
Well, let me tell you one thing. When I was going to set up this meeting a few weeks ago, I said I was originally thinking a Thursday night, and then I was about to email everyone, and suddenly I got a work email saying, "Hey, we're holding a virtual work event tomorrow on a platform called Remo."
Yeah. Well,
And
I'm in a pitch league. At Kelly's, we have a pitch league, and tomorrow's the last day
Okay,
of the
well,
pitch
that
league.
worked. So, but just to wrap things up, does anyone else have any final thoughts, comments for official record?
No?
All right. Well,
I'd say, let's adjourn this meeting. I move to adjourn.
So moved.
second. Those in favor?
Yay.